Hello and welcome to today's Battletech review. Today we are going to be looking at the Grendel, which was originally called the Mongrel. Then its Diamond Sharks rebranded it as the Grendel again. A little bit of an odd duck there. And we really have the two body kits for the design here. The one on the left being the one that was originally released for the, Mongrel. And on the right, the one that actually sold. This is a surprisingly interesting little machine. At 45 tons, it's going to fit in quite a few different formations, and it can be used for a variety of things, but mostly as a scout hunter. I would say it's most important position in a formation. So let's get into it. I just realized here that I messed up this one pretty badly here. It's at the start of Operation Revival, not Operation Exodus, that the clans showed up. Exodus is when the Star League left, not when they came back, which was Revival. It happens when you're working on those after a long shift. Well, there it is. Operation Revival showed the four big boy clan, which was Smoke Jaguars, Ghost Bear, Jade Falcon, Wolf. Really, if you look at the entire clan hierarchy, things have changed quite a bit over the years, especially recently. But the Wolves, the Jade Falcons, were always near the top. Coyote was quite near the top as well for the most of its existence. But during that build-up to Operation Revival, they had kind of waned away. Ghost Bear and Smoke Jaguars had a bit of a revival. Fun joke there. Right before the big clan invasion was going to happen, and that's what gave them the position they had in this whole thing, especially with the Smoke Jaguars having Leo Showers as the Hilcon. But, of course, as is well known, Leo Showers kind of got vacuumed out of his command ship, and Ulrich Kerensky took charge afterwards, and he decided to call out all the backup clans to come and help them out. Or, as some people would now want to say, make things more difficult for the actual clans. Because the people they brought in were all people that the other clans didn't like. So the Steel Vipers were supposed to help out, the Nova Cats were supposed to help out the Smoke Jaguars, and the two of them didn't like each other. And they brought in the Diamond Sharks, who were, we're going to talk about that. To say that the Diamond Shark did poorly during the invasion is an overstatement. Nowadays, when we look at the Sea Fox, which is what the Diamond Sharks turned into, we would be hard-pressed to realize just how bad things were back then. Jan Åker, the Khan of the Sharks at the time, accompanied the first wave of the invasion and studied what was going on and how they would be able to fit in. Another thing they did was apparently sell weapons to insurgents, especially in Clan Jade Falcon territory, in order to, try to turn a profit on the thing. And that's mostly because Jan Åkers is an idiot. My Sea Fox friend liked to remind me of that every time we bring it up. Vlad Ward reminded the Shark of that as well when he literally challenged them to a trial, got Jan Åker's genetic legacy and destroyed it because it was pointless. Jan Åker has a pretty bad reputation, and really, some people don't like to be reminded of that. So if you are dealing with some Sea Fox people out there, don't talk about Jan Åker. They did manage to capture a few worlds, very few. And then they failed epically at Tukayid. It was one of the great failures of that battle. So yeah, the Diamond Sharks really weren't doing too good to help out the clans there. One of the things, though, that the Sharks did fairly well was release new mechs. And one of them was the Mongrel. It was pretty good at Tukayid, and people actually looked at it and were impressed by the results it brought. So what the Diamond Sharks did, rather than have everybody fight for it and do all sorts of trial, well, Jan Åker actually sold the right and production runs to just about everyone who wanted one. That's probably one of his smarter moves. At 45 ton, the Mongrel is really fast and really agile. It uses a 310 XL engine, so that's a pretty darn big engine, and 7 jump jets, so you can go about 120 kilometers per hour, and you can jump 210 meters in any direction. Like most modern Omnimex has got endosteel internals, and it's protected by 7.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor, which actually makes it tougher than your standard Phoenix Hawk, which is, I would say, one of the most comparable mech in the inner sphere. In the end, you get 13.5 tons of pod space, which is less than a third of the mech's weight, but you're paying quite a bit there for the large mobility you get on there. Honestly, you can use the Grendel in quite a variety of roles, even as a standard scout if required, but I would say it really fits the role of bug hunter and scout hunter. Well, you often call it bug hunting because all the small scout mechs are bugs. It's fast enough to catch this target, it can jump to catch the even faster one, and it can outrun the slower ones. It probably won't win any epic honor duels, and when you're using it as a clan Mechwarrior, probably want to challenge some of the lighter mechs with it rather than some of the bigger ones. But if you're fighting filthy, disgusting Stravags, you're going to be able to do a pretty good job. There's also the fact that the Grendel is stupidly reliable and rugged and easy to repair in the long run. That makes it good for long-term engagements, which is not what a lot of the earlier Omni-mechs were meant to do. The primary configuration is your basic hunter-killer configuration with an heavy energy weapon loadout. It really reminds me of the Phoenix Hawk just because of how it's set up with an ER large laser and 3 ER medium lasers to make the kill at shorter range. It's supported by an ER small laser at even shorter range to fill out that half ton, basically, and a Streak 6 SRM, so you make every shot count on those missiles when you're shooting them at scouts. This is pretty much as good as it's gonna get in terms of a hunter-killer, and you're gonna be able to use it as a raider for extended periods of time, as long as you've got Streak SRMs to reload in between engagements. Alpha configuration is a little bit more specialized, using a pair of 15 rack LRMs with 2 tons of ammo each, backed up by a medium pulse laser and an ER small laser. It's also really good at destroying annoying little scouts, especially since those LRM racks don't have a minimum range since they're clan-based. Once you get in shorter range, you can still shoot them. The medium pulse laser is highly accurate. This one here you won't be able to use for long-term raiding engagements, but you're going to be able to take out specific scouts that you know are going to show up. The next two, I think, are actually not very good. Bravo goes with an Ultra AC5 with 1 ton of ammo, which is not a whole lot. And at closer range, you do get 2 medium pulse laser, an ER medium laser, and that ER small laser just to fill out that half ton. Honestly, the Ultra EC5 is a lackluster weapon to begin with. I'd go with an ERPPC, put in more heat sinks, and call it a day. Even worse is Charlie configuration with an LB-10X with 1 ton of rounds, so you don't have your clusters and your slugs, you just have one or the other. Combined with a ER medium laser when you run out of your 10 good shots of it. You do get an anti-missile system to protect you, so I guess there's that. But honestly, those two configurations, I don't think are really worth your time. Out of the original design configuration, Configuration Delta goes back to the basic as a hunter-killer with an ERPPC that is torso-mounted and a regular 6-tube SRM, actually, again, armor. At closer range, you get a medium pulse laser, and for just a little bit more range, you get an ER medium laser. Against infantry, you have a small pulse laser, which is very nice. None of the other previous configuration really have anything against infantry. You can use those SRM on this one to load up Infernos if you need to really, take out infantry quickly. And this one actually has a pair of hands, so you can get into fisticuffs and punch people when required, which you should never do as an honorable clan warrior. As stated before, the Mongrel did really well at Tukayid, and as people wanted to buy it off and at least trial for it, the one thing that kept happening is that people called it the Grendel instead of the Mongrel, because that's what the comm guards called it, and that's what the people getting gun cams from the fight were getting, basically. Jan Ocker and his friend rolled with it, giving the mech a new body kit, and rebranding it as Grendel going forward. Another change that I would have done at least is take out those hard-mounted jump jets, giving you 3.5 tons more pod space that you can use for jump jets. Much smarter, especially on a fast mech like this. You might not need those jump jets all the time. You might want to stick a supercharger in instead. But you know, we're dealing with Jan Hawker here. So with the new body kit, we got new configuration in the long run. Echo is actually a rebrand of Alpha with more efficient advanced tactical missile launcher rather than LRMs. You get a pair of 6 tubes on there. You get 4 tons of ammo, the same as with the LRM version, but now it's going to have to be spread between extended range, high explosive, and regular range ATM, so it'll give you a little bit more variety and a little bit more damage. I don't think this one is a very bad update to the machine. Foxtrot, on the other end, is your infantry tank hunter with a pair of plasma cannons, backed up by another 6-tube ATM. You get only 2 tons of ammo for your weapons, so it might run dry fairly quickly. Maybe run just 1 plasma cannon instead, and maybe replace it with a few other things. But this is going to be deadly against Clan Ellsworth, as an example. Golf configuration is meant for raid and fast strike, using a supercharger to boost your ground speed, and a Watchdog CEWS to do the active probe ECM job. For guns, you get 4 medium pulse laser and 5 micro pulse laser, which is great against infantry, and it is highly accurate on top of it. You're not going to be shooting very far with all of that, but you should be fast enough to get in range for at least a medium pulse lasers to start causing a lot of issues. Hotel configuration is your typical heavy laser configuration that uses the heavy large laser as the main gun with 4 extra double heat sinks to try to keep you cool. As backups, you get a 4-tube Streak SRM and 2 ER medium laser with a coaxial ER small laser that's mounted on top of the heavy large laser for a little bit of added firepower and possibly a little bit of fire guidance. It's going to be fairly deadly, and you can use it as a long-term raider as well. This one is a nice revamp of your original, basically. Now we're down the line to India configuration, which is armed with a plasma rifle, an inner sphere weapon, but there's no better clan version of it. That is great at murdering tanks and infantry, and a light/protomech AC4 to give you a little bit more bite. An ER medium laser can be used once you run out of ammo, which will happen since that's all you really have. Juliet configuration is a tank hunter with 18 tubes of Streak SRMs with 2 tons of ammo. You might actually run dry with that little ammo on a mech, even with Streak SRMs. It really depends there. This is also supported by a small pulse laser against infantry and 2 improved heavy small laser for close range dissection of targets. I kind of like that one. It's very specialized, but I think it will do a very good job in many situations. Mike configuration uses 2 longer range weapon with a rotary AC2 with 1 ton of ammo. It's the clan one, so it's a little bit larger and gives you a little bit more range than the inner sphere one, while it also has a ER large laser as a, well, I would say a backup here, since the rotary AC2 with 45 visible shots, it might run dry fairly quickly if you fire at full auto on that rotary. It's a decent sniper. It's going to cause issue to scout vehicles and other scout mechs, which is what the Grendel is meant to do. Finally, Tango is a retread of your primary configuration, using a large pulse laser and an improved heavy small in the arm mount, and a standard 6-tube SRM instead of the Streak one. For closer combat, you get 2 improved heavy medium lasers and a end-mounted ER small laser. I think I like the original version better for scout hunting because you get that extra range, which you will need against a lot of scouts. But for better brawling, this one kind of does the trick. If you're looking around for a Mongrel nowadays, well, this is probably what you're going to be seeing. This is a new mech that was designed by the Wolves in Exile and the Rasselhaig Dominion, and they called it the Mongrel because the original Mongrel was now the Grendel. This one comes from 3092, and it's got a inner sphere designation with MGLT1, and it's a mixed-tech weapon. It goes the same speed as your regular Grendel, and it uses reactive armor in order to protect it against a few different things, and as an endosteel chassis. The main gun is actually a Marauder's AC-5, backed by 3 ER medium laser and a retractable blade for medium melee support. I don't think it's a bad design, just one that is not super common. If you see one and are interested in it, you can get it. Maybe you can swap out that auto cannon for something a little bit fancier. It's really up to you. The Diamond Sharks turned into the Sea Fox at the turn of the century, but they still love to build the Grendel and sell it to everybody as long as they have a positive bank balance. Every clan has a whole lot of them, and even Inner-Sphere units sometimes have a few floating around. We've bought a few over the years, and we've been using them as backup in cavalry lances, and especially as scout hunters, as I keep saying, where it really shines. I don't like having someone show up and say, like, can you put it as a configuration A, configuration B, or even some of the other ones there. It's better with a very limited ammo supply and long-term rating abilities. A lot of people have Grendels in their inventory, but not a lot of people actually use them. And I hope this particular video teaches you a little bit more about this machine and what you can do with it. I thank you very much for listening to me for so long. I hope you guys have a very nice rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.